Hello, welcome to Kevlar's Quest, the Modern Life podcast. I'm Kevin Ijezi. Today's quest is the truth about paid connections. The truth about paid connections. A common objection to transactional relationships is that they feel fake. The concern is that someone providing companionship for payment may not truly care, may even dislike the client, and may and only hides those feelings because of money. That concern is valid. There is no guarantee of love or affection in such arrangements, but the same is true in traditional relationships. Many marriages exist where partners dislike each other, sometimes even resent each other. A non transactional relationship does not automatically ensure warmth, respect, or genuine care. It is often assumed that money cancels out authenticity. Yet, many of life's most valued relationships involve payment. Coaches, barbers, stylists, bartenders, therapists, these are professionals who are compensated, but the emotional connection can provide, but the emotional connection they provide can be very real. The emotional connection these professionals are compensated for, they are very real. A therapist, for example, may genuinely care about clients, and that care is part of what makes therapy effective. Payment simply allows the service to continue. Professional relationships can be good or bad, just like personal ones. In fact, professional ones often have to be good because otherwise the provider would not stay in business. Authentic warmth can exist in both. Consider the experience of entering a restaurant. The hostess smiles and welcomes guests. Yes, she is paid to do so, but she may also enjoy hospitality and choose that career because it fits her personality. The smile still matters, it shapes the experience. Contrast that with how many people are greeted in their own homes, sometimes with indifference rather than warmth. When genuine attention is missing, people naturally seek it elsewhere. Transactional relationships can be shallow, but they are not inherently so. Authentic care can exist in them, just as indifference can exist in traditional relationships. The difference lies in expectations and boundaries. There is also a practical side. If a transactional relationship goes poorly, it can end quickly with limited cost. In contrast, living a loveless marriage can involve years of emotional strain and enormous financial loss. The point is not to promote one path over another, but to challenge the assumption that money automatically makes relationships fake. Transactional connections can carry real value, and sometimes they provide a safer, simpler way to meet human needs without the heavy risks of traditional arrangements. A story was once shared about a man who added up the money he spent on divorce, years of alimony, and compared it to the number of times he was intimate with his wife during their marriage. When he did the math, he realized each encounter had cost him about $50,000. That's an unbelievable figure, and it shows how expensive traditional relationships can become. This raises a bigger point. Transactional relationships, where money is exchanged, may not reach the highest levels of intimacy, but they are far from the lowest. For many successful men, reducing risks matters more than chasing perfection. With professionals, there is an expectation of respect, competency, and consistency, just like in any service industry. The more that is paid, the higher the standard of treatment. Think about fine dining. At a world class restaurant, service is attentive, polite, and professional. At a casual diner, the service may be less polished. And when nothing is paid at all, treatment can be indifferent. That same principle applies to relationships. Some people treat strangers with more kindness than they show their own partners. Relationships are not a free pass to stop trying. Being a husband, wife, boyfriend, or girlfriend is a role, and roles require effort. Just like a job, relationships are privileges that must be earned by adding value. It's not worth remembering that people don't go out to eat only because they can't cook. They go because they want convenience, care, and the pleasure of being served. That same desire exists in relationships. People pay for experiences that make them feel good every day, whether it's food, entertainment, or companionship. For successful men, traditional dating can be costly in both time and money, with no guarantee of interest or intimacy. Escorts or sex workers, by contrast, offer clarity, choice, and professionalism. The risk is lower, the expectations are clearer, and the outcomes are more predictable. That doesn't mean transactional relationships are perfect. They have limits, but they also solve problems that become more pressing as success grows. They provide control, reduce uncertainty, and often cost less than the risks of traditional dating or marriage. Of course, many would dismiss this choice, and that is their right. But the reality is that not all men who choose this path are failures or losers. They are simply making decisions that make sense for their circumstances. The larger lesson is this: instead of judging, it may be more useful to understand why people make the choices they do. When customers choose a different product, it's not always because they are wrong. It's often because the alternative meets their needs better. And that's the real takeaway. Relationships, whether traditional or transactional, are more about value, respect, and meeting human needs. When those needs aren't met, people will look elsewhere. Okay, that's our quest for today. Please subscribe, like, and share. Someone out there needs to hear this message. Maybe someone like you. Let's spread strength and clarity to those navigating this journey. We'll talk more in future episodes. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for listening and take care.